Well, hello everyone, welcome to a new video. It is me, Desiree, and it is that time. It is time to talk about the yearly favorites. These were my favorite products of 2022. I actually have already filmed this video 3 times because I wanted to include everything that I loved, and it was literally over an hour long, and I thought I didn't even want to edit it. It was just too long. I filmed it again, I did the same thing, and then I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna pare it down to the MVPs. I'm taking a little page from Emily Noel's book. She always does a video on MVPs, her most valuable products. And these were the things that I reached for the most, the things I wanted to use the most, that I just loved. And I feel like if these things disappeared one day, I would go buy them again. Like if all of my bronzers disappeared, this is the thing I'm gonna buy first. Same with highlighter, same with the foundation and the eyeshadow. So these are my MVPs. I'm going to apply them all on my face. There's pretty much only one thing in every category. A couple of things have more than one, but for the most part, I just wanted to feature my most valuable products, the things I feel are like an extension of my hand. I could probably use these in my sleep, you know what I mean? So eye primer, of course, I gotta go with Morphe. This is the Morphe Eyelid Primer. This is my favorite eye primer that I've ever used. It's just the best. It's clear. It leaves a little tiny bit of tack, and I know that doesn't sound appealing. When I first heard people talking about that tackiness that eye primers leave behind, I thought it meant that eyeshadow was gonna stick to it, like, and not move, but it adds a little bit of stickiness to your lids. Like, it's just enough that your shadows will stick to your lid but still blend. So if you have a lot of trouble like using eyeshadow and it's not transferring, like say you're picking it up on your brush and you're trying to put it on but it's not showing up, maybe you're not wearing an eye primer. So definitely try one out. This is my absolute favorite. Yeah, just the best. I gotta put something on my lips, and I'm going to use one of my favorites of the year. These are from Merit. These are their lip oils. These were sent to me by the brand, and I love these. I wouldn't have bought these with my own money just because lip oils aren't really appealing to me, because most of them, they're not very good. They're oily, which I get it. Yeah, they're supposed to be an oil, but they're oily and they go inside of your mouth. They spread around your lips. Or they're not lip oils at all, like the Ulta ones. I find those ones to be very, like a thick, sticky gloss. They're not oily to me. These are on another level. So they're very slick. I wouldn't consider these oily, you know, I think that's kind of a negative term. They're very slick. They're very smooth. Very nourishing, very comfortable. They don't have any scent to them at all. Nothing you're gonna taste and get in your mouth and make you feel funny. They're just freaking beautiful, beautiful formulas. I have here this clear one called Bel Air, and then I have this one with a little bit of tint to it called Taupe. Yes, Taupe. And I don't normally like color on my lips, but I really like this one because it looks so similar to my lip color. These are the best lip oils I've ever tried in my entire life. I would 100% recommend those, especially if you think you hate lip oils. You will like those. They're great. And I thank the brand so much for sending those to me because they turned out to be one of my favorite products. Let's move on to foundation. No, I don't have a primer. I bounced around to a lot of things this year because I shopped my stash a lot, and I liked a lot of stuff, but there wasn't really one primer that I thought was like better than all the other ones. They all either work the same or they're all like just blah to me. I could easily cut primer out of my routine. But the foundation I could not cut is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation. This was a product that I shopped my stash for earlier this year, and I thought I felt kind of funny about it. I was like, I don't know if it's as good as everyone says it is. But it's the best foundation. I tend to use 2 pumps. I find 2 pumps to be exactly enough for me and for my preferences. It's very thin. It has some nice coverage. Blends very easily into the skin. I feel like you could even blend this in with your hands and your fingers if you tried, or if you were like in a pinch, because it's not the full coverage where you have to cover every scrap of your skin. So this covers just enough. Like, look at that nice coverage there, but you can still see my skin through it. And you know, you're never really gonna fool anybody. Like, I'm not wearing any makeup. As no makeup as those kind of looks are, you could still see that you're wearing makeup. But it can look very natural, and I think this is the best foundation for that. You can build it up to get, I would say like medium coverage at best. I haven't tried to make this full coverage, but I don't think it's meant to be that anyway. So I wouldn't recommend trying to make it a full coverage foundation. Oh my gosh. Ooh, my stomach is growling. I came home right from work to film this video and I didn't eat because I really want to put this up today. Anyway, there is the foundation all blended in. I did about a pump and a half. I think it looks so nice. Just really natural, like just fresh. Like I look like myself still, but kind of a little more freshened up, I guess. Like it just looks great. I'm not going to put any more on because I am going to go in with concealer, but this is my little baby now. I have here the shade Y235. If all of my foundations disappeared or all of them went bad for some reason, this is the first one I would repurchase. I did like a lot of other foundations this year. I really loved the Ulta Beauty Stick Foundation, the number 7 Restore and Renew Serum Foundation. That one is fantastic if you like full high coverage foundation that looks good and isn't gonna crease. That's a really good one. I also really liked the Dior Backstage Face and Body, but if there can only be one MVP, it is this. So next up is concealer. I have the Dior Backstage Flash Perfecting Concealer. This is a really beautiful, natural, lightweight, easy breezy concealer. I'll put on just a little bit on my face so you can just kind of see it. But I am gonna do a different one on the under eyes. And I love the applicator on this. It's just like a little actual makeup brush, like a little flat concealer brush, and it's just fun to put on. I do like this on the under eyes as well, but I want to use something else today. So this is a very, very, very thin formula. It has nice coverage to it. It's very similar to the Backstage Face and Body foundation, just really light, easy to use, nothing too crazy, just a nice, easy, everyday concealer. But there's something special about it, something I just really loved more than everything else. But the one, if I could only pick one, if all my concealers disappeared, this is the one I'm going to repurchase first. It's from Kulfi. This is their Main Match Concealer, and I have the shade Ice Ice Berry. This is the lightest shade in the line. I was looking them up this morning to kind of see a little more about the brand. They only have 12 shades of the concealer, which kind of surprised me. But I guess they're a South Asian brand, and they work, I guess they put a lot of effort into the shade match and like for your undertones and your skin tone. And for me, this is an identical, undetectable shade match. They describe it as light neutral, and that's usually what I go for in pretty much anything. I go for light neutral. It's just what I like the best on myself. And this shade match is otherworldly. I'm just gonna blend this under my eyes. And this concealer, it self-sets, so you don't need to put powder on it. It will dry down to like a nice satin finish, nothing too like emollient looking or wet looking, like you feel like you need to put powder on it. You could just leave it as is. It will not settle into your fine lines. It will not crease or cake at all. It will not fade. It wears beautifully, and it's moisturizing. So if you have really dry under eyes or you feel like concealer just never looks good, this one is like the best. It's the best for the under eyes. As much as I love the Tarte CC Under Eye Corrector, once I started using this, I didn't touch that. And that's my holy grail. But this, there's something special about it. I do use this on my entire face as well. Not on my whole face, like I'm not trying to color in my entire face, but I use it as like a whole base step all the time. It's so good. It's a beautiful formula, definitely one of the best I've ever tried. I hope they come out with a foundation because I think right now they just have a handful of products. Actually, I think they only have a couple of products, but this is, it's amazing. Definitely one of the best formulas I've ever used, and definitely the MVP of the year. So for powder, the one that I reached for the most was actually the Too Faced Multi-Use Complexion Powder, but it is discontinued. I did finish it up, but I was using it because I wanted to use it up. But the other powder I found myself just reaching for constantly was the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Powder Foundation, or foundation in a powder. So I have here the shade Vanilla 120, and this is so similar to the one from Too Faced. Like I even made a dip in it. I used it a lot, and definitely the one I've been reaching for the most. So I'm gonna put on a little of this, I haven't actually tried this as a foundation powder. I just really love it as a light setting powder. It does have some coverage to it, so don't like grab a ton on your brush. Kind of start slow and put it on as you like it. It mattifies and sets everything, but it doesn't look flat. And it does add a little bit of coverage. So like this base right here, I was wearing non-stop this year. The foundation, the concealer, the powder, and I just freaking love the way that it looks. I love it so, so much. I never like the way that foundation looks just on its own with no other makeup on. It just tends to look kind of flat and like you need to add some color cosmetics on. But with these base products and maybe some eyebrows, I feel totally comfortable like this. I don't feel like my skin looks totally flat or as if it's like completely blanked out. I just really love the way that it looks, which is why they're yearly favorites. And when it comes to bronzer, there were two. The Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder was one of my most used this year. But if I could only pick one, it's this. The Nars Laguna Bronzing Cream. I have this in the shade Laguna 01. This is a cream bronzer. Look at that dip I have made in it. I don't want to stop using this. I love everything about it. I love the packaging. I love the tone. I love the blendability, the wearability, everything. I do have a whole video on this where I reviewed it, I demoed it. I also compared it to all the other cream bronzers that I had. This just goes on so easily and effortlessly. It's almost foolproof. Like you can't mess it up. You can't put on too much. You can build it up if you want to. It goes on really nicely on top of powder. I've even worn powder foundation and this still looks really good on top. Blends effortlessly. Like, look how quickly I was able to bronze my skin. I do like to use a stipple brush with this. I have used it with a sponge as well, but this is just my favorite kind of preferred method. I feel like it just kind of helps creams diffuse a little more and look a little more natural, but look at that. Easy, so fast. I don't like putting this on my neck or anything just because I don't like putting cream all over my neck. That's where I would pull in the Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder. This one right here, this is what it looks like. The packaging did break. I have hit big old pan on there, but this is the one I love using on my neck. I also love just to use it as a full face bronzer, but this is another one of my absolute favorites of the year. But if I could only pick one, oh, it's this. It's the best. And it does have a really light, sweet scent to it, like a little bit of a sweet tart. For highlighter, there are two. This is the Beauty Blender Bounce Magic Fit Creamy Bronzer and Highlighter Duo. I actually don't like this bronzer at all. It comes with a little cream bronzer, but it doesn't compare to the Nars one. And this one's just, I don't like it. What I bought this for was the Duo, but what I ended up loving was the highlighter. So up here on the top here, you have a little cream highlighter. It feels like putty, but it feels really melted. Like it's really, really soft. When you touch it, you feel like you're not even picking it up. Like it's a weird, weird texture, but it is such a beautiful, effortless glow. I'll try to do a swatch, but you can't really see it because it's almost colorless, although it looks like it's a little champagne in the pan. It doesn't really show up with a lot of color on the skin, and it really will make your face or wherever you put it look wet. It will just look like a wet glow, kind of like you just put on your skincare or something. Really, really pretty. This is not the one I'm gonna wear today because I'm gonna put something else on. But if you're looking for a really great, easy, effortless cream highlighter, this is definitely one of the best I've ever tried. Although you gotta buy the Duo to get it. I didn't return it like I wanted to because I fell in love with this highlighter. It's so pretty and subtle. So nice. But the one I'm gonna use is my other favorite one of the year. This is one I feel kind of funny about now because it's from Jaclyn Hill. It's from Jaclyn Cosmetics. And she's a very polarizing person in the beauty community. You either love her or you hate her. I feel indifferent. I don't really care. But she's always in some sort of controversy. Like right now, the whole thing with the Kosas stuff, it's just kind of icky, right? But it doesn't take away from the fact that this highlighter is the freaking bomb. I love this so much. This is the highlighter in the shade Iced. This is the mini right here. They make a bigger one, and I almost bought it earlier this year because it was half off for Ulta's 21 Days of Beauty. This is like one of the most finely milled highlighters. It seems like it's baked. Let me see if I can do a swatch. There it is right there. I know it doesn't look like much in a swatch, but this like will transform your cheekbones. And when I first put this on, I feel like I dipped in too much. A little goes a long way, but you can also build it up to make it really blinding, kind of however you want. Use it soft, use it intense. It's your highlighter. But oh my gosh, I love this so, so much. And I felt kind of funny including it because, I don't know. But you know, sometimes you can separate the art from the artist, and you know what? They knocked it out of the park with this formula. It's so nice and just very neutral. Like, it doesn't have a weird undertone to it. It doesn't pull like that gray, ashy kind of thing in certain lighting. It goes with everything, and I love it so much. Okay, for blush. I bounced around a lot with blush this year because I shopped my stash a lot. But there was one thing that really just like knocked my socks off, and it was from Laura Mercier. These are the Tinted Moisturizer blushes. I have here two of them. I have two of them. I bought these in a duo. They were like a little Christmas set, and I did do a whole video on these where I demo one of them. I talk about the formula and all that kind of stuff. And I did do a video review on these. I'll link any corresponding videos to these products. I'll link in the description box in case you want to see more. I have here the shade Southbound and Coastline. These are a cream blush, but they call them a tinted moisturizer. Which color do I want to go for? I think I'm going to go for this one called Coast. No. So I demoed Coastline in the video review that I did. So I'm going to use this one today. This is the one called Southbound. This one is a little more on the pink side. Coastline is a little more bronzy, a little toasty, but not too deep. This kind of looks like it's going to be too deep for my skin tone, but it's not. It's really, really pretty. Has a little bit of rosiness to it. But the reason I love this formula, it's just so rich. Like, it feels like a cream blush, but it could also be maybe a liquid. It kind of feels like a melted cream blush, if that makes any sense. They're not super over the top pigmented, so you can kind of be a little carefree with them. So this is how I like to put them on. I put the blush on, and then I use the sponge that I put on my foundation with, and I mean barely any pressure on my face. I mean, just really use this to move the blush around. And it's just the nicest, like lightest flush of color. I really, really like these. These are something that I had to put away. I had to get these and put them in the back of the drawer so I could use other things, because I just was like, I wanted to use them every single day. They're so effortless. All right, same thing, other side. Easy peasy. These are so nice. I really love them. I immediately wanted to buy every single color, but I mean, having two, these will last me quite a while. You know, liquid blushes, usually a little goes a long way. These are awesome. I love them so, so much. And they look great. They look really good on bare skin as well. So for eyebrows, I mean, this was the pencil of the year. The Kosas Brow Pop Brow Pencil. The packaging is on another level. Like, I want to keep it once I use it up. It has a little bit of a teardrop shape to it, which is not usually my favorite brow kind of pencil, but this one is so, so small that it kind of worked great for my obviously non-existent and thin brows. I just loved it. And the brow gel of the year is definitely the NYX Thick It Stick It Brow Mascara. I don't have any of that right now because I used up both tubes that I had. And I'm trying to use up other things first before I repurchase that, because I know once I repurchase that, I'm not going to want to use anything else. So I'm going to try to finish up a couple of other things first. But that stuff is awesome. I do have a whole review on that as well where I demo it, so I'll link that below in the description box if you want to see it in action. But it's a brow mascara that has fibers in it and some tint and some hold. It's the most awesome thing in the world. I love it for my puny little brows. It makes them look really full and big and like really naturally filled in. It's just really good. I love it so much. I know a lot of people really loved that this year, but NYX really knocked it out of the park with that. I wish I had it right now. I almost bought one at work yesterday too, but I put it back because I'm like, no, no, no. Use up the other things you have. So the brow powder, this is not just the brow powder of the year, this is the brow powder of my life. It's from IT Cosmetics and it's called Brow Power Powder, and I have here the shade Universal Taupe. I'm using it from a palette that they came out with a few years ago. It's right here. you know, there's just a little bit left around the edges there. This might take me the rest of the year to use up. A little goes a long way, but I love using powder. I know it's kind of a whole thing with the brows, but I love doing powder as well as pencil because it just makes them look a little softer, a little fuller. I don't know, it's just what I like to do. So I'm gonna throw on some gel and then we'll talk about eyes. Okay, the brows are living their own life today. Once this gel dries, I'll fill them in a little different, but right now, they're not working for me. I need the NYX Thick It Stick It mascara back. For eyes, I have a few things. I really pared this down to just the things that I could not stop using. There were some palettes I really loved. I really enjoyed the Profusion Ethereal palette and the Profusion Harvest palette. Those were like really good palettes from Profusion. Definitely the best I've ever tried from them, and my most used palettes of the year, like by far. But if I can only pare it down to the MVPs, it's these two. From MAC, this is their Longwear Paint Pot in the shade Groundwork. I know, I think this is like an icon at this point. I bought this. This was actually in my favorites last year as well. I've been using this for 2 years. Wow, that's crazy. I put a big old dip in it. It's just like the perfect, most beautiful, unexplainable color. It looks like it's just a basic brown when you look at it here in the pan, but it has a lot of nuance to it. So it's brown. Is it taupe also? Is it rosy? I don't know. It's got a lot going for it. It's really pretty. I feel like this will look good on a ton of different skin tones, and it's so easy to use, which is why I just wanted to use it every single day. Days I was kind of running behind or just didn't feel like doing the whole thing with eyeshadow, I just get this, blend it with my finger. And this year I didn't do a lot with eyeshadow actually. I was really into colorful eyeliners, and I'm definitely going to mention those of course, but that's kind of what I wanted to wear all the time. Eyeshadow was not just, I don't know, it just wasn't something I wanted to reach for all the time. But this eyeshadow was definitely the most used of the year, and this little trio I'm going to mention. So I just blend that out just like that. Easy peasy, a little something on the eyes to make you feel a little more complete, especially if you already have a full face of makeup on. But the eyeshadow, the most used eyeshadow like palette of the year by far was Covergirl Shimmering Sands. Another makeup icon, right? I can't stop using this. I want to say this was also in my favorites last year. It's just a really basic little trio. This color here, I think looks so similar to the MAC Paint Pot. It goes really well with this. I am going to put this on. It's an all shimmer palette, but the shimmer is done so well and so different. Like, I don't see any brands doing shimmers like this anymore. A lot of the time they are like just a satin color, or they're trying to make it a foiled shadow or something like that. But this is just a really finely milled shimmer palette. There's no fallout whatsoever with this. I tend to just kind of dip into all the colors and then just blend it all over the lid. It adds just the nicest little shimmer pop without looking like a shimmer eyeshadow, like a foiled shadow. It bounces the light so nicely off your eyelids. Like, it's just the best. I think this would work great for any age. You know, if you're older and you kind of feel like you can't wear shimmer or you don't want to put it in your crease, this is going to change your life because it's not your typical kind of shimmer. I know the light from the window is kind of bouncing off, so you can't see it too much, but it's not going to like emphasize your texture or anything like that. It's just, it's the best. It's the best. I love it so much. Wore it constantly. And I think I'm going to take a little bit of the Paint Pot also on the lower lash line, just with a little pointy brush here, just to add a little bit of something. Okay, and then the next thing for eyes were the liners. I was so into these eyeliners this year. These are from Pacifica, and I think they just call them vegan eyeliners, but this is what they look like. I got these at Ulta. I bought these back in February because I did a whole video like talking about just Pacifica, and these were definitely the standout of the whole brand. There were some other products I liked, but most of them were just, they just missed the mark for me. But these were so good. So all of them are pastels. You get like a really pretty pink one, purple, blue, and then like a greenish color. And the color you see is the color you're going to get. They're not those pastels that are super, super chalky and have like a white base to them. They knocked it out of the park with not only the colors, but also the actual formula of these is really good. They are long wearing, they're true to color, they will stay all day long. I wore these constantly on the lower lash line, on the inner part of my eye, all over the lid. They were wonderful. So I have sharpened the heck out of these. I feel like they're so short now. The pink one I wore all the way down. I gotta sharpen that one again. And the pink one I really like too because it's not that kind of pink that makes you look sick. It's just a really nice, beautiful, blushy color. But they are true to color. They're long wearing, they're smooth, and they glide on the eyes really easily. These were a huge, huge hit for me this year, and definitely the standout from Pacifica, like of the whole brand for me. Loved these so, so much. And then black liners, I really loved the Tarte C Surfer Curl liner. This is just your typical black gel liner, but the formula is really, really good. It's a little mechanical twist up here. Really smooth, really black, glides easy, wears all day. But my all-time favorite black liner is from Makeup by Mario. This is the Master Pigment Pro Pencil in the shade Super Black. There is another lid on this side, but it comes with this really unusable brush on that side. So I keep that lid off so I know which side is where the pencil is. This is another like really ultra black pencil. Really, really smooth. This is one that's almost like too creamy. Like it could easily get away from you if you're like just trying it out for the first time. So start slow with this because it's very, very creamy. Like it almost feels like not only like a gel pencil, but it feels almost like a pot gel pencil. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's super, super, super creamy. So buyer beware with that one, but it's an awesome, awesome black pencil. So for setting spray, there was really only one that I kept going back to constantly, and it's one that I shopped my stash for this year, and it's the Peach and Lily Glass Skin Veil Mist. So you can use this as a skincare product, as like a spray throughout the day or whatever, but I think a lot of people tend to buy this for a setting spray. And I really fell in love with this year after I shopped my stash for it and I forced myself to use it. It leaves your skin with a nice glow, but it doesn't look oily or like super shiny. So like take a look at how my skin looks now. And this is just gonna add a little bit of like a radiance to it. It's gonna take away any extra powderiness I might have on my skin, really melt everything together. And of course I got my fan. And it's a really, really nice mist as well. It dries on the skin really easily, like I don't need to fan for a really long time. It also doesn't have any fragrance or perfume. But see now how it added just like a nice little radiance, just to kind of melt everything together. This is so good. For mascara, there was only one. There was only one mascara of the year, and it was the Tartelette Tubing Mascara. That mascara just absolutely blew my mind. It's the best tubing mascara I've ever used. Definitely the best mascara from Tarte. And also the Surfer Curl mascara from Tarte is really, really good as well. A close second. I don't have that one either right now. But both of those are really good, but the tubing mascara was definitely my number one favorite of the year. It lengthens, it separates, it volumizes, it holds a curl in your lashes, it doesn't smudge, smear, flake, or transfer, it removes easily. It's like the best all-in-one mascara. I think pretty much anybody would like it, but of course every mascara, like some people really hate certain things and some people love them. I loved that one so much. So I don't have another mascara to talk about right now, so I'm just gonna do something else and then we will wrap it up. Yes?
I'm just gonna go real quick.
You look cute. You're gonna go real quick. Back home? It's nice today, Demi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's gonna be gone too long.
Okay, live your life.
Love you. I didn't want to interrupt you, but...
You gonna be careful? He said he was gonna be careful. It's recorded. Okay, love you. Bye bye. I just realized I hadn't swatched those pencils. These are the Pacifica pencils. They're so pretty, so true to color. Like, even just seeing them now, I want to wear them. But I'm doing something a little different for New Year's Eve, which is today, so I'm not going to put those pencils on just yet. And mascara, if there's one other one that really blew me away this year, it's the number 7, the Full 360 Ultra. Nourished panoramic lashes. I bought this back in November in a little gift set from Number 7, and this mascara really, really blew my mind. So the wand is not usually my favorite kind of style. I don't love these kind of hourglass wands just because I feel like they're kind of weird when you put them on. But this formula was just so nice. It worked really well with these bristles. This is a mascara that was like really good on first use, and sometimes mascaras aren't like that. Like they're either a little too wet or I don't know, they just need a little bit of like age on them to get really good, but this was great with one use. Like just really full, lengthened, separated, nice lashes, builds up really nicely as well. All right, there you go. There's the mascara on. I really, really like this a lot. But that is it. That is going to wrap up my 2022 makeup favorites. I love all of these things. I love how it looks. I love this stuff so much. So I'm really glad I pared this down to just the MVPs because I think it was a little more cohesive video. You got to see everything going on all at once, and now I'm like, why don't I just wear these every single day? Like, why do I even try other stuff? Well, you know, variety is the spice of life and all that stuff. But man, I love my 2022 favorites so much. If you've tried any of these or you want to try any of them, let us know in the comment section down below. Everything is listed and linked in the description in case you want to check any of them out. But that is it. Thank you so much for joining me for my last video of 2022. I hope you guys have a really great, safe, fun New Year's Eve. If you're doing anything, if you're sleeping through it, live your life, you know, just hopefully you're doing what you want to do. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe so you don't miss my next one, and I will see you tomorrow for my first video of 2023. I can hardly believe it. Anyway, see you then. Goodbye.